Greetings and welcome to the channel. My name is Dr. Narcissist, and today we're going to be talking more about projections, how narcissists or other people use projections to manipulate and control. And this is particularly in the context of realizing that not all the accusations, critiques, and judgments thrown at you are about you. They actually aren't. They are, in fact, psychological projections, which are shadows of other people's psyche cast upon you. So you realize that projection is one of the most insidious tactics used in narcissistic abuse. It fuels gaslighting, manipulates your sense of reality, and can even erode your sense of self-worth. But once you understand it, you can disarm it rather quickly. So today we're going to focus on what projection is and how it's used by narcissists and other people, how to recognize projections in relationships, whether they are familial or work or otherwise, and what triggers projection and how narcissists use it to control others, and how to neutralize projections and break free from its effects. If you've been in a relationship with a narcissist, whether romantic, professional, or familial, this is going to shift your entire perspective. So stay with us until the end, because we'll be giving you some powerful strategies on how to break free from these projections and reclaim your sense of reality. So what is a projection? Well, the projection is the psychological defense mechanism where people, including narcissists, unconsciously attribute their own unwanted emotions, thoughts, or behaviors onto you or onto someone else. Projections was first talked about by the great psychotherapist, psychologist Sigmund Freud. And he mentions in the context of people using projections to externalize discomfort rather than confront it within them. Carl Jung, the Swiss psychotherapist, expanded this further, stating that what we deny in ourselves, we see in others. This is Carl Jung. What we deny in ourselves, we see in others. This is why narcissists constantly accuse others of the very things that they are guilty of. So what are some examples of narcissistic projection? Well, think about a narcissist who lies constantly. They will accuse you of being dishonest. A narcissist who lacks empathy tells you that you're cold, unloving, or self-centered, for example. A cheated narcissist will accuse you of infidelity to deflect their own guilt. And a narcissistic boss will call you manipulative when they are the one creating the toxic office environment. So you realize that projection allows narcissists to rewrite reality, control narratives, and avoid accountability. So the question is, why do narcissists project? Why do they do it? What's the point? If it's so painful and takes so much effort, why do they do it? Well, from a root cause perspective, projection is a survival mechanism for the narcissist because it helps them in many ways. And I'll go through some of the ways in which it helps these narcissists. Firstly, it helps them to avoid responsibility, because the narcissists, based on their fragile egos and no sense of self, cannot admit a fault. So they'll blame other people for their own faults, you see? Then, as I just mentioned, the narcissist has a false sense of self because their ego is too fragile. They cannot handle self-reflection, because if they do, they get very dysregulated. This is how fragile the narcissist is. And if you're in a relationship or have left a relationship with a narcissist, this is why you must have empathy for them and forgiveness, not reconciliation, but forgiveness. Then the other reason is to evade accountability, because a projection is simply a smoke screen making you defend yourself while the narcissist escapes blame. And again, they use it to control and confuse, because by projecting their flaws onto you, they can manipulate how you see yourself. It's a very, very insidious tactic they use. And this is why the narcissists attack your character the hardest when they themselves are hiding something. They are projecting their own internal chaos onto you. It goes without failure. So you may be asking the question, okay, fine, I get it, makes sense, but how do they actually do this? How do the narcissists use projection to manipulate? Some simple tactics include blame shifting. If you call them out, they will flip the script. I'm not the problem. You are. You're the one always causing drama. Or, I don't need your help. I'm here to help you. This is what the narcissist will do in a very insidious way that will be very jarring for you. The second is they would gaslight you through projection by telling you you are unstable, you have mental issues, you're crazy, you're too sensitive, and they do this so you begin to question your reality or doubt your reality. The other reason why the narcissist, or how they use projection, is to maintain this moral assumed superiority. They pretend to be a good person while accusing you of being toxic, which they are. Then another thing, and I laugh because it's amazing when it happens, it's so hard and painful. But when you begin to get wise and savvy to your tactics, it's so silly and petty and childish. Yeah, the other thing is this victimhood projection. They abuse you, then they accuse you of being the aggressor. For example, the narcissist will start an argument, then say, oh, you're being so mean to me. The goal of projection is to exhaust you emotionally so you stop questioning them and start questioning yourself. So some of the things that may trigger the narcissist projection is when their ego is threatened, when there's the potential for them to be unmasked or exposed, when they feel called out and there's a need for accountability or responsibility, they begin to get very defensive, and hence there is a need for them to project. When they sense you're waking up to their manipulation, they start to project very heavily. And this is a very dangerous phase in the narcissistic cycle, because the projection at the stage when the mask is slipping can lead to smear campaigns. They may even get very unhinged, sometimes physically unhinged. And so it's something to be very mindful of in how you let the narcissist know that you are savvy to their tactics. The other reason why they project, or what triggers projection of the narcissist, is when they themselves are cheating, lying, or doing something immoral, right? And so to assuage their guilt, they say, you are doing it. I recall, in my experience, an ex-partner would accuse me of flirting and being with someone when there was no such thing. It was just friendliness. And in their case, in a family setting, and in their case, this was a revelation of what they themselves would want to do or did behind the scenes. So it's important to realize that it is your strength as an empath that triggers the projection for the narcissist. In fact, the more self-aware you are, the more emotionally strong you become, the more a narcissist will project onto you. And that's because your clarity highlights their deception. It does. So how can an empath handle narcissistic projection? First is to detach emotionally. Remind yourself that projection is not your truth, and they were trying to make it your truth. The second is to ask yourself, is this true? If a narcissist calls you selfish, question it objectively. Is this true? Is this true? And then the other thing is to not take the bait. Stay calm and refuse to engage in circular arguments, because that's exactly what the narcissist wants. Then set boundaries and limit your exposure, particularly if the person is very toxic. You may want to distance yourself from them, from people who project onto you, because projection is only powerful if you absorb it. So you neutralize this from a spiritual perspective. In fact, Buddhism teaches us that what we see in others is a projection of our own minds. Similarly, the Bhagavad Gita also says, the wise are indifferent to praise or blame, for they see beyond the illusion. So projections are a wake-up call to self-validate, move in silence. And I want to know what projection has been in your life. It's just an illusion. Once you see it, you cannot unsee it. And it's happening because you're special. If this resonates, type transform in the comments or let us know your experiences with this. Don't forget to like, subscribe to the channel, and share this with anyone who can benefit from this. Keep remembering there's absolutely no one like you. Keep shining. See you next time.